Noemí Torres Díaz.
Ahí nomás.
Martina Noemí Torres Díaz. Si se escuchará por el micrófono o no se escucha nada. ¿Se cayó?
Ahora voy.
¿Se cayó, mamá? ¿O calentó?
No, solo se tiró.
¡Hola! Mami, ¿viste el nombre que no?
Viejo no. Porque acá esto hay que tirarlo porque es de todo.
Mi nombre es Noemí, Martina Noemí Torres Díaz. Martina Noemí Torres Díaz. Martina Noemí Torres Díaz.
Ya está la mochila.
Hola, papi.
Hola, hijo.
Hello and welcome to the Estadio Fiscal at Punta Arenas. We're here for the Falkland Islands' second fixture of their tour of Punta Arenas, and this time they will face Club Deportivo Libertad. We just had a bit of a delay there as both teams would be wearing red. The Falklands to their kind of training jerseys, their navy training jerseys, and the Club Deportivo Libertad are wearing their red and white jerseys, red socks and red shorts. By contrast, the Falklands are wearing their navy training shirts, white shorts and their blue socks as well. I'll just go through the lineups before we begin, as the coin toss is going on in the centre circle. In goal, we've got Blake Benjamin, who was again the joint top scorer in the domestic league, who has switched from being a top goal scorer to the goalkeeper, and he did really well on Monday, saving one of the penalties for the Falklands to win. On the left, we've got Eva Monfasu, nicknamed Manchi, and he's been playing in Peru. On the right, Ethan George is represented at the 2023 Island Games, and he's been playing football for 19 years. In the centre, we've got the experienced Dan Steer and Mark McManus, and the kick-off is away whilst I keep going through the team list here. Dan Steer and Mark McManus play in the centre, with Aidan Morris and captain Claudio Ross up in the centre defensive midfield role. Sean East is the centre attacking midfield, who is flanked by Jason on the left and Matt Francis on the right, with Ethan Gilson-Clark up top, the prolific striker, who has played for the Cheltenham Town youth team and Bristol Rovers youth. And he says it's nothing better to represent your national side. So again, we do have kick-off now in the first 5 minutes of this fixture. The team spirits of the Falklands are very high, following a penalty victory against Penguinos on Monday night. Again, when I was speaking to some of the players, they were saying that the nerves are off, the nerves have gone, they've got the first victory, and they can play with a bit of freedom now, as Ethan George trying to bring the ball forward. Is intercepted there by the Libertad defender, and again plays it back to number 30, and again it's with the centre back of the host here. So again, there's two ways you can catch coverage of the game tonight. You can either listen into Falklands Radio, or you can watch on the Falklands Live YouTube page. The coverage is kindly sponsored. The radio coverage is kindly sponsored by Mark Lewis Legal Practice and by FIFCA for the Falklands Live YouTube channel. So the ball is brought forward. It's currently in possession with the Falklands, just inside the host half, as Aidan Morris just turns around, looks up, plays it back to Mark McManus at the centre back, and plays it back to Blake Benjamin, his goalkeeper, as the Falklands reset and get back into position. Just one change, Dan Biggs that announced, as Cleggs is intercepted by 5, brings it forward. Libertad is in possession now on the dangerous chance as Blake manages to pick it up there. No, as I was mentioning, there was just one change from the team that won on Monday, as Jason comes in on the left flank, partnered with his cousin at left back in place of Declan Bonner, who sits on the bench for now. I'm sure he'll have some more game time as the game progresses. But everyone says they're fit and healthy. Again, it is quite intensive to play 3 games in 5 days. So again, spirits are high in the Falklands camp. They've just done a light training today in the rain. But again, just to sort of loosen them up ready for this fixture. The Falklands shape is a kind of a 4-3-3 formation. As Eva brings the ball, passes it, plays it to Ethan Gilson-Clark, who has a fires on goal, and what a save there by the goalkeeper. Again, Ethan is lethal just from the edge of the box there, manages to pick up the ball, looks up, has a strike on goal, and it was into the palms of the keeper, who parries it over and goes for a corner ball there. Again, the strike force of the Falklands, Matt Francis on the right, then you've got Jason on the left, and you've got Ethan Gilson-Clark in the middle. So quite a pacey wings, and then Ethan is quite dangerous. And again, he's quite a prolific. Goal scorer. I think there's a throw in the corner there. So I think he's a prolific goal scorer, having scored 6 goals against NPC in the last warm-up fixture last week. Swings it in, the keeper manages to just palm it away, and it's cleared away by Libertad straight into their striker, who plays it onto the left. Sean East, again, energetic player, was the goal scorer, slides in but misses the ball. As 14 brings the ball forward, plays it through as Evers managed to receive the ball. And Falklands are back in possession, just in front of Ever there, tries to break away, and it is a throw-in on the far side for the hosts. Again, it's pretty, the host, quite a well-established club here in the local region, having celebrated their 62nd birthday last year as they bring the ball forward. Number 5 plays it, just tries to finds the space and plays it wide. Again, there's no support for him, so they play it back and try and get the host to reset. As we go 0-0 here for those listening on Falklands Radio. A good chance, one chance for the Falklands. Ethan Gilson-Clark fires straight at the goalkeeper, who's able to parry it over for a corner. As the hosts are currently in possession here, trying to play a few passes together. No danger yet for the Falklands, but I think they're starting to play a 4-3-4, the host. So again, that formation will try and bring the centre TDMs away from their positions, as Matt Francis plays in an unmarked Jason, who's just unable to control the ball, and the keeper fires away. That was a good chance there for Jason, who was unmarked and wasn't able to control the ball. The keeper manages to fire away. Long ball here by Libertad, manages to catch the ball. Dan slides in, puts the pressure on, and it goes for a goal kick here at the Estadio Fiscal in Punta Arenas. For those of you that are watching the live stream, you'll notice that Blake now has to run across the track because this is a community stadium. It's not just football that's played here. They also have, earlier on, they were having the athletics club that were practicing for their regional finals, I believe. And again, there is also the long jump pit as well, sand pit as well, where a few of the supporters are stood watching the game. Now Blake gets us back underway. A long kick to try and find Jason on the Falklands left. And it goes for another throw-in, as Ever has to also do the same and run across the track and pick up the ball, ready to take his throw-in. Again, there was a slight mishap with the kits. The Falklands usually wear their red kit, sponsored by Falkland Islands Holidays, but the host also wear red. So the Falklands are currently wearing their training kit, which is in the navy. As Ever tries to bring the ball forward on the left flank, it's intercepted and hoofed away. They seem to be playing a sort of a long ball football. Ever's just out of position, but Cleggs is able to sort of patch that gap in. As CD Libertad are still in possession, just on their back line here, as they try and test and find the space. Again, the Falklands here are aware of the tactics of Libertad. They have been watching some of the games that have been live streamed in their domestic league as Aidan brings the ball forward, and the fact that they're quite a technical team. They're able to sort of bring players into awkward positions to find space, and they're aware that they're going to be trying to bring out Cleggs and Aidan Morris in the centre to create space, to try and have a shot on goal against the young goalkeeper Blake Benjamin. As Ever now on the left wing brings the ball forward a good couple of miles without challenging, plays it forward. He has a few options, plays to Matt Francis, who again just struggles to control the ball but manages to recover well. Again, he's put under a lot of pressure from their midfield. Aidan now is in possession, plays it to Ethan George, plays it back in. Again, good play, good passing movement by the Falklands, who are unable to get past the defensive line, so plays it back to their centre defensive line as Mark McManus plays through 1-2 there with Ethan George. Mark McManus is now on the right wing. He's a centre back by trade, but he's over there, and the referee hasn't given anything, I don't think. No, it's a throw-in He was tackled, but the referee has judged it not to be a foul. So it is a throw-in a dangerous position here for the Falklands on this near side. Goes for a goal kick. Nothing comes of it so far. Again, Dan Biggs is watching his side on with Daryl Harada, talking tactics, as well as it's quite a cold evening out there on the stadium. It's quite warm in this little box that Ollie and I have got. It's freezing cold out there at the moment. Pretty windy as well, but ideal conditions to play some football. However, traps the ball down, plays it into the centres to his centre back, Dan Steer, and to Mark. Tries to play a long ball forward to Matt Francis, but was a bit wayward, and it goes for a throw-in to the host on the near side here. Again, like I mentioned, Libertad have the hosts for the Falklands opponents are one of the most established teams. Like I say, they celebrate their 62nd birthday last year, and I read a local article that they wanted to sort of establish their youth setup and establish a facility. As Sean East is alleged brought down, the referee waves play on. That was in the box, but the referee sees that it's a waves play on. As Sean, a dangerous position there as it goes for a throw-in for the Falklands. Nice lively start for the Falklands, definitely the most lively of the both teams. As it continues, a throw-in now for the Falklands on the far side. As ever, as it tries to bring the ball and manages to hoof it away. Another throw-in on the far side there. Again, it's the fact that they're wearing the training jerseys. The numbers are super small, so you might be able to see the numbers on the live stream. But yeah, I'll do my best with the numbers. But yeah, they've had to change the shirts just before the start of the game here. There's a throw in now for the host CD Libertad, just inside, well, in the middle of their half on the far side, as the throw in to try and create some options. Again, gets to the half, plays it back to their their right back, who tries hoofing it forward, and the Falklands are there to receive, and it comes back as Ethan now brings the ball forward. Ethan Gilson Clark, he's got options, plays into Matt Francis, who stopped, couldn't get any support there, so plays it back to his CDM, Aidan Morris, back to Cleggs. Quite some good pass and move here. Matt Francis now has the chance, fires on goal, just on the edge of the box there. Good chance for the Falklands, but it just goes into the palms of the Libertad goalkeeper there. Again, I've been able to ref the Falklands versus NPC, the military games, and once the Falklands start passing and moving, they're quite lethal, quite rapid, and that was an example of that play there. Again, another good chance, testing the resolve of the Libertad goalkeeper. Again, Sean East has been everywhere. He's been quite energetic. He did say in his sort of questionnaire, one of his key traits is being energetic on the field. As Libertad now break, sort of trying to catch the Falklands on the counter. Dan Steer dives in, and it goes for a throw-in on the far side for Libertad in the Falklands half. Again, there's not enough. The Falklands are not giving them enough space to able to string a few passes together. As it goes for another throw-in, and that was Cleggs there that was able to use his physical strength, and again goes for another throw-in for the hosts here, who are wearing their red and white kit. As they bring the ball to number 11, they tries to, again, the Falklands are very good at, once they're in the defensive mode, they go into a sort of a 4-4-2 formation and really sit back to put as many bodies in front of the ball, in front of Blake's goal as they can. So again, a good display of the tactics for the Falklands. Again, when they go into the attack mode, they go 4-3-3 and try and utilise the pace on the wings and give support to Ethan. But when they're on the defensive mode, it goes to a 4-3-3, as There's some pulling of the shirt there with Ethan George, but it's alright, he's recovered. He's managed to get the ball and plays it to Matt Francis. The Falklands are looking really good, to be honest, as the hosts try and press, as Matt just loses the ball, but Mark McManus is there to receive the word and tries to find Ethan Gilson-Clark, but it hits the head of the Libertad left back, and again they reset and try and come again. Jason again is quite a rapid player who, for those of you that listened in to Falklands Radio News earlier, he said he was very happy to be playing in the squad, particularly with his cousin who also is playing at left back ever. As Dan dives in, slides in there, doesn't catch a man, but the ball goes near to the corner flag, and Libertad are in a dangerous position as they realise they can't get forward, so they play it back a little bit. As Mark receives the ball and brings it forward, it's kind of end-to-end stuff, plays it to Ethan Gilson-Clark, and waiting for support from Sean East. 1-2 step overs, tries to go round his man, manages to do it, plays it to Mark McManus, who skies over. That was the closest chance there for the Falklands. Good work there by Ethan Gilson-Clark, using his strength to go around his defender. The keeper comes out, makes himself look big, plays it to Mark, but I think Mark just leant back just too far for the ball to go over. Again, Mark scored on his debut on Monday against Penguinos with a header from the ball was received from Dan Steer. He was really pleased when I talked to him earlier on, really pleased to score on his debut. He's also been quite experienced in the UK as well. He's also won his most proudest moment is winning, captaining Barnham Trojans to Cup and League victory. So again, quite an experienced player in the Falklands lineup as the hosts are in possession here, just in their defensive half, as Five tries to and test this Falklands formation of the 4-4-2 as it resets. Again, if you've just tuned in to Falklands Radio or Falklands Live YouTube page, whichever you prefer to watch or listen in, thank you to sponsorship from Mark Lewis Legal Practice for the radio coverage, and FIFCA for Falklands Live as well. As the goalkeeper is in possession for Libertad, again tries to space out the wings, and this is what they were worried about, the Falklands, in their pre-match briefing, was trying to stretch the team out of position to kind of create gaps. But the Falklands are not biting so far. Definitely the most active of both teams, as it goes for a throw-in in the far side for Libertad at the moment. Quite windy here at the Estadio Fiscal Stadium. But again, if for those of you that are living in the Falklands, you'll know that we have to change. We have every season in the space of about 10 minutes, so the Falklands players will be used to the windy conditions, and especially at the new sports complex as well, which is quite windy sometimes. As now the Libertad have just picked up Matt Francis picked up a wayward ball, brings the ball forward. Good 10 metres, plays it to Ethan Gilson-Clark, who is good tackle there by number 30, the centre back. As it was, Ethan had a good chance to have a strike on goal, but the defender was there to say nope, not today. And again resets back as Libertad come forward. Ethan is brought down. Oh, okay, no, it's gone for maybe a handball. As Ethan went down and he handled the ball. It's a free kick here for the hosts. A quick free kick. No messing around. We want to get this attack over quickly. Now again, it's playing it around from the back. Matt Francis picks up the ball, plays to Ethan. Right back, and plays it into the centre to Cleggs, as Mark McManus has also picked up the ball and goes back to Blake. Again, now he'll take some time to allow his team to reset and go back into position. Plays it forward to Sean. Sean is brought down, the referee agrees, and it goes for a foul for the Falklands. That could have been a dangerous chance there, but again, Sean is a very energetic player. As Dan takes the free kick very quickly, and it goes in to the defensive line of the hosts as they've now come forward. It seems like they've changed their formation maybe to a 3. Oh no, it's still going. It seems to be changing. It goes to a 4-4-2. Maybe they realise that maybe it hasn't worked their first one, so they're going to try another attempt. Now we've got some space here on the left wing. Tries to play in the ball to the centre, but Evers there to be able to block the ball for Blake to pick it up. It takes some seconds, allows the team to reset, gets back into the positions. Blake brings the ball forward. No one challenges that from the Falklands, so it's a free header there for Libertad, but Aidan manages to hoof the ball forward, and now it's back with the host goalkeeper. I did some sort of a little bit of research on the hosts in the domestic league for Libertad themselves. They finished 4th in their league, meaning that they'll have to do a playoff to get into their sort of regional final. And their regional final is a 16-team knockout, and they have 5 associations that are all sort of have their own different leagues. And the 3 main ones, the 3 ones in the centre, give out 3 teams that go to basically the top 3 in their Premier League, should I say, and then the 4th place goes into sort of a playoff. And currently Libertad are in the kind of playoffs before they can get into their regional finals. The current holders of the regional cup is the Falklands' next opponent, which is so-called Coata. But again, I'm sure we'll talk about them tomorrow. This is a game against Libertad, as Cleggs has a go and goal. Quite ambitious there, to be honest. Good 30 yards away. Still has a test of the goalkeeper as the rain comes down. Now Aidan brings the ball forward. He's tackled. It goes for a throw-in for the hosts here. Now the Libertad have now a throw-in, a long throw. That's a free header there for the Libertad. Sean manages to pick it up as the ball kind of goes in and out. And Sean is brought down. The referee plays on, and it looks like Eva has a shot on goal, but Sean is brought down, and we have a bit of a break in play here. I think there was a bit of a physical challenge there by one of the Libertad's midfielders. So there'll be a break in play here at the Estadio Fiscal. For those of you listening in, it is 0-0 here as Sean gets back up. I think there's a little knock there. He rubs his knee. But yeah, as I mentioned, it is 0-0 here. The Falklands have had a few good chances on goal. Certainly looking the most lively out of the 2 sides here. As Libertad's goalkeeper does a long kick, and Dan Steer is there to sort of head the ball out for a throw-in to Libertad just on the halfway mark, or just inside the Falklands half, as the host gets us back underway. Again, I did mention earlier, the team spirit is definitely picked up. A lot of the players have said how well the team have gelled. And for those of you listening to Falklands Radio earlier on today, I did speak to Mark McManus, who praised the manager, Dan Biggs, for his sort of methods of sort of the light training that they've been doing, and the fact that everyone's sort of having an input into the team and with the expectations of the team. And clearly you can see everyone's enjoying themselves. As Aidan Morris has brought, there's a foul there, the referee signals a foul. Aidan Morris has brought one of their wingers down. So it's a free kick here for Libertad, just inside the Falklands half. He doesn't play it forward, he plays it back to his defensive line. And then again, the host will try and test and try and bring the Falklands away from their positions to try and get some gaps in there to bring it to their top players top striker up top. Getting a good test for Libertad as well, the hosts, as they're going for their playoff games in a couple of weeks. So again, good test to play another different style of play, the Falklands. The Falklands, by contrast, for those of you that don't live in the islands or are quite interested in how football works, the Falklands compete at something called the Island Games, which is the kind of pinnacle of international football for the smaller nations such as Guernsey, Jersey, the Island Islands, etc. Himself have been to 8 Island Games starting in 2001. There have been occasional other games, as I mentioned earlier, the FA Representative 11 who came over in 2018, and they also played the Chagos Islands in 2023 before the 2023 Guernsey Island Games. And as well, I've been speaking to Patrick Watts. He was the former manager of the Falklands Tour, who came over to this region and played a 3-game series in 1997. So the Falklands have been here before in 1997. As now Libertad on the Libertad right brings the ball in, crosses it in. Blake's there, and Blake manages to pick the ball up. And there was a foul there from the referee signal. There's must have been contact with Blake by the Libertad striker. Quite a dangerous position dangerous position there for the Libertad, as I think Eva was a bit out of position there. There was a bit of space for the host. As now Ethan George on the other wing is quite busy on the right, on the Falklands right, but he's there able to stop the attack and play the ball away for another throw-in. There's been quite a few throw-ins this game. Ethan George forces it back with Matt Francis, forces them back, and then it goes back now to their centre-back. Quite different. The Falklands have 20 players, including Dan Biggs, who would be able to also play as well. The host here have 15 players. So again, it's going to be a long game for the hosts. They'll be much more used to this pitch than the Falklands. The Falklands had, like I say, a light training today for a few hours, just sort of getting them warmed up, ready for the game tonight. Now the centre back tries to play in on the wing there. There was no space for him, as Blake Benjamin is now in possession. Again, takes his time. The rules are you have about 7 or 8 seconds for a goalkeeper. Tries to play it into the middle, tries to find Jason, but the host centre-back was there to receive it. Now brings it forward for the hosts. Ada Morris manages to intercept it, plays it to Cleggs. Cleggs plays it through to Matt Francis, who again has been given no space there. 3 of the players on him straight away, and again he's dispossessed, and now it's back with the Libertad goalkeeper. As the Falklands sort of stretch and press them to a sort of a defensive line. Number 11, Aidan tries to challenge and manages to beat and plays it forward to 5 for Libertad. Tries testing Ethan George's sort of right flank, Falklands right. Couldn't get through, so Libertad plays it back to their centre back line. Again, still can't get through. It's a good defensive display here. The Falklands are remaining quite resilient, quite stubborn, not allowing any space for the hosts to sort of exploit or get in. And this is why the hosts are playing it, trying to play. They're trying the long balls now, trying to bring the long balls in. As Blake now plays over to the Falklands left, it switches. As Eva tries to play in Jason, but it's intercepted now. Eva's out of position. A bit of space here now for the hosts. Eva manages to recover really, really well and forces them back. Getting some space on the far side for the hosts. Swings it in, and Blake is there to receive the ball. Again, Dan and Mark, the experienced centre-back duo, were able to sort of put pressure on the host striker there for Blake to pick it up. Oh, the referee has signalled something. Not quite sure what's happened there. Referee signalled. I think there might be a free kick just on the edge. Oh, dangerous position here. Okay, maybe there's something. Oh. Okay, so what happened there is I wasn't quite sure. So it's gone for a corner. Maybe that's because Blake fired the ball from outside the box, perhaps. Anyway, it's gone for a corner ball. Swings it in. And the Falklands are able to get it out. And it's now with Ethan Gilson-Clark, who is through to Matt Francis on the Falklands right. Tries to step over and beat his man. Plays through to Shawnese, who's just wide from his feet there. That was a dangerous attack for the Falklands, dangerous counter-attacking move. Again, I'm not quite sure really what happened there, why it went for a corner. But anyway, it was a corner, that's what the referee saw. And as the Falklands are in possession. Now as Cleggs is brought down, Libertad, the possession has changed. Keeps changing. Aidan now with space just on the halfway mark. Plays to Ethan. George, no options there. Plays to Mark McManus. Quite a wayward pass. Tries to find Dan. Dan's there to recover the ball. Experienced defender Dan Steer there was able to recover from a bit of a mistake there by Mark. Again, Dan Steer has been playing for 35 years. Very experienced centre back. He played for Slough Town in the Conference North, and he told me that he picked up an injury, so couldn't continue at the high level anymore. But he's still happy he's playing at 45 years of age, so it's one of his highlights at the moment. As now it's a throw-in for the host on this near side. Just inside the half again, they're going to try and play it out from the back again as Matt Francis puts a bit of pressure on. Again, the Falklands are not giving them that space. As soon as the host are on the ball, there's one or two players of the Falklands straight on them, not giving them the time to look up and find their teammates for the hosts. As the ball is brought at the back defensive line of Libertad. Centre back tries to bring it forward. There's no movement really from the host. Again, they seem a bit lost to try and where to play the ball. They're trying on the left, trying to probe this left flank of the Falklands right, sorry. Now Clegg's in possession. Plays to Ever to Sean. Now Sean's job is to try and bring the ball forward. Plays a really good ball to Matt Francis, who uses his paces just on goes inside the edge of the box. Has a goal! And saved by the goalkeeper, low down to his left. Again, the Falklands are quite electric once they're on the counter attack. Plays it. The move was played to Sean. Oh, I think we've got a free kick here for the Falklands. Oh, there's a substitution, early substitution for the hosts, and it goes for a corner ball. Must be a rule I'm not quite sure about, but there's a corner ball here for the Falklands for probably the same reason why Libertad had a corner earlier. As Matt Francis now sets up the ball just on the near side here at the Estadio Fiscal. Swings in the ball. Tries to meet the back post, hits the header of Mark, which has gone deflected for another corner on the far side. Tries to find Mark. Mark is quite a strong physical player. And it goes for another corner ball, as I believe that's Jason over there, having to run all the way across the track, the athletics track, to collect the ball. Again, good display here by. There's a relatively short one. to his cousin Eva, swings it in. There's a bit of a ping pong ball there as it goes up and down. And again, the hosts are able to clear away as now they're breaking on the attack. Aidan is there, trying to force them wide. And Matt is able to recover. Good defensive work there. Aidan was able to force their winger just wide, and Matt Francis was there to receive the ball. Now, it's another attack on the left, the Falklands left. As Jason comes in and out and plays it to Mark, to Sean. Sean plays to Ethan. Ethan's now up there. And I think Matt's gone on the right. Getting pretty diverse sort of a dynamic duo there, Matt Francis and Ethan. They can both play in that left wing or sort of right wing or right back position and chop and change as Matt Francis brings the ball, fires on goal. Another one goes into the palms of the goalkeeper. The Libertad goalkeeper certainly been the busiest out of both goalkeepers so far. Matt Francis having another go from the edge of the box. Again, just was in the straight at him really. As now Libertad bring the ball forward dangerously into the Falklands half. Manages to go past Matt, but Ethan George is there to stop him in his tracks, and it goes for a throw-in on the near side here. Thank you. I've just got a message in, so if someone holds the ball for more than 6 seconds, it goes for a corner ball. So that's, I mean, I'm sure I'll have a conversation with the referee at the end of the game, maybe. But yeah, maybe that's what happened there. But as now the Libertad in possession, just on the halfway mark. Again, can't find any space. There's no sort of, the Falklands are making it very difficult for them. And the Falklands seem to be happy to sort of catch them on the counter. As Jason tries to run forward and tries to intercept. Now on the left here, as Matt Francis tries to force him wide. Ethan George is there to recover. Brilliant to see. Good defensive unit there between Ethan and Matt on the Falklands right. Again, Ethan forced them wide and Matt was there to sort of hoof it to clear the danger. Ethan's definitely been the busiest of the Ethan George has definitely been the busiest of the right backs of the now Ben, the goalkeeper, plays to Jason on the Falklands left, manages to spin around, but there's 2-on-1 there and Jason is dispossessed as the Libertad come forward, but Jason won't be gone so easily as it goes for a throw-in. Quick throw-in there, but the Falklands are on them straight away, giving them no space. But at least 3 players there, including Dan, had to come over from his centre-back position to make sure no danger was averted. As Jason now brings the ball forward on the Falklands left, manages to beat his man. This defender there. And Jason's now picked up the ball. Plays it to Aidan, who looks up, takes his time a little bit, plays to Matt Francis. Matt now plays to Mark McManus as we've got a bit of a break in play as one of the host defenders, one of the host wingers is brought down. He's just having a few moments on the field there. Again, it is pretty cold out there, definitely, and we've been quite privileged to have some good weather here in Punta Arenas, but today it hasn't been the case. We've had sort of a bit of rain and wind. Again, this is similar climate to the Falklands, definitely, and I'm sure the football players on the field will be used to this weather anyway. So I think it's a drop ball for the Falklands, as Mark will play it, probably hoof it to, plays it to Matt Francis. Plays it back in, it comes back to Mark. Sort of a wayward pass there by Cleggs. 14 picks it up from the Libertad. Good recovery by Cleggs. Dives in, just misses it, and Dan is there just behind him to recover the ball as the ball is cleared. It goes for a throw-in on the far right. far right for Libertad on the far side. Again, I was speaking to Dan earlier, one of the big kind of positives for the Falklands is their kind of team dynamics, team cohesion. You can see it from a mile away. They're all friends. They all are all part of the same sort of teams in their domestic leagues. They also play different sports such as hockey. Quite a goal as well. So again, they all play different sports. Declan Bonner has played darts, and he's put on his form that he also occasionally rides a horse, but I think he's very good at doing that. Won a few races, hasn't he? So as the host here, starting again, sort of there's about 5 players at the back here trying to break the Falklands positioning, but again the Falklands remain quite resilient. As Sean is trying to challenge in, but again it's back to the goalkeeper for Libertad. Plays it to his centre back. Tries to play it forward again. Matt's there, just happy just to sort of dictate the play, sort of put the pressure on. And Cleggs is there to receive it. Plays it to Ethan Gilson-Clark, who's had a few chances on goal. Certainly one of the most one of the best chances Ethan has had, fired from just outside the box, and it just went straight into the goalkeeper's hands there. But again, still testing the goalkeeper, which is always important for this game. Now Libertad and the Pingüinos, which was the team that the Falklands played on Monday, are in the same division, with Libertad defeating the Pingüinos 2-0. Again, as I mentioned earlier, there's about 3 associations in Punta. 3 associations in Punta in the main city, who all have their own domestic leagues, and then they sort of the top 3 go into sort of the form in their league goes into sort of a little playoff position. Now on the left side, Sean East is that is a challenge there. The referee agrees, and it goes for a free kick. Sean East was sort of sandwiched between 2 players from the host there, and it goes for a dangerous 3 kick here, as the referee sort of paces out his yards for the wall. In dangerous position. I think Ethan Gilson-Clark is lining up on the ball. He'll probably have a go here, as the goalkeeper for Libertad is sort of sorting out his wall. I think there's 5 or 6 in that wall. Ethan now has a chance over the wall, and what a save. Just into the palms of the goalkeeper. Goes over the wall, but just into the palms, and the keeper's able to pick up the ball as he breaks away and plays it to his defensive line again. Again, we spoke earlier about the host here. They play quite a technical game and are quite physical as well. As now they're bringing it on the Falklands right flank. Tries to play over Matt Francis, and Ethan George just says see you later and hoops the ball forward and clears it from any danger. Again, good defensive display here on this right flank in particular between Matt Francis and Ethan George. It seems that Matt's trying to force the players, force them to make the mistakes, and Ethan's there sort of to avert any danger. As Libertad arrive forward again, it seems strange, there's about 3 or 4 players at the back. No real danger yet for the Falklands. About 3 or 4 players at the back trying to pass it around, string a few passes together. And again, I think what the tactic is for the host is for the midfielders to try and pull the Falklands out of their position. And I think the Falklands are aware of that from watching sort of live streams and previous videos. And again, in the hotel themselves, they have the table football championships, but as well they also watch. They take it quite seriously. They're watching the games and sort of the streams of what they can find on YouTube, etc. For those of you that are listening in on the radio, it is 0-0 here at the Estadio Fiscal in Punta Arenas in the Falklands, second game of the Punta Arenas tour. Falklands won the first game against CD Penguinos. This is the second one against CD Libertad, and then they'll face their final opponents, Skokul, as Cleggs has brought down. They'll play their final opponent, Skokul, tomorrow before they'll head home on Saturday. A first tour of Punta Arenas for the senior men's national team since 1997. Sort of a break in play here as Cleggs was brought down just inside the host's half as Dan Steer hoofs the ball forward, tries to find Sean. Sean plays it on to Jason, and the touch was just too heavy. It goes into the goalkeeper's hands. So look. Another free kick. Sean East is having sort of a busy time out there, sort of a rough time. Second time he's been brought down now. The referee agrees and sort of wears a free kick. Quick free kick. Sean is back in possession, just on the edge, and he's brought down again. He is certainly having a lively time out there, and it is another dangerous position for the Falklands, just on the edge of the host area there. I think, I'm not quite sure who's lining up, but the referee will get start pacing out his yards for the line to get in. The line's going to be a four-man wall. I think Ever's going to try and swing it in for a header. Plays it in. Tries to find Ethan George. Just misses. The hosts are able to clear it away. And it goes for half-time there. So 0-0 at the moment between the Falkland Islands and CD Libertad. The Falklands have had their chances, definitely the most lively of the sides so far. But yeah, we'll see you for the second half here on the Falklands Radio and Falklands Live YouTube channel. as the Falklands, it's currently 0-0 here at the Estadio Fiscal Stadium. The Falklands had some good chances in the first half, but the goalkeeper was there to receive it. As Aidan Morris traps the ball forward, tries to play it in. Sean East, early start for the Falklands, has a go on goal, and it goes wide for a goal kick. Just the one change for Dan Biggs, as Claudio Ross, the captain, has come off in place of John Paul at the he's going to be playing the CDM role, the central defensive midfielder role, partnered with Aidan Morris. The captain's armband, as Declan Bonner, the vice captain, is currently on the bench. It's gone to the ever-experienced Dan Steer at the centre back. John Paul is captain of the Fortuna Mustangs, who won the 11-a-side league recently. I think they finished in March. Good player. And again, we asked every player what their kind of pre-match rituals were or sort of superstitions, and he said just be positive. So again, as the Falklands will be trying to starting to take a goal, they've definitely had the chances in the first half. And again, John Paul also plays table tennis, he's a keen table tennis player. So a lot of the players for the Falklands do play different sports and different activities as well. As Libertad now are in possession, brings the ball forward their left wing. Plays it back to this midfield. So when I was listening in to when the Team Falklands came back for their half-time talk, I'm sure I can't broadcast what was said, but it was quite positive, to be honest. The team spirit was there definitely, but yeah, definitely the Falklands could sort of get a result here. But Libertad are dangerous, and they have been trying to test and probe the Falklands defensive line now. And this is where the tired legs come into play as well. I think Aidan's actually dropped to centre-back. Yeah, that's right, sorry. So Aidan Morris has dropped now to centre-back. And now Mark McManus, who is a goal scorer, and has scored in the first goal, now plays in the CDM role, the central defensive midfielder role, and is partnered with John Paul. So again, Aidan Morris is partnered up at centre-back with Dan Steer. Again, they're retaining that sort of 4-3-3 formation, but when it goes defensive, the Falklands seem to go in sort of a 4-4-2 line. Now, Libertad in possession just in their half. Sean East tries to break it down. So does Jason on the left, on the Falklands left. John Paul slides in there, manages to get the ball. Now he's in possession. Takes a look up, got some space, tries to play in Jason on the left. Just a flick on there by Sean East, and the Libertad defender was there to receive it, and it goes for a goal kick for their hosts. Again, for those of you that are listening to the radio service, the hosts are currently in their red jerseys with red socks and red shorts, while the Falklands are in their blue socks, white shorts, and in their training navy shirts, because they only brought one sort of kit and it was red, so the colours clashed. Now John Paul in possession, uses his strength, tries to hold the ball up but is dispossessed. Again, looking lively on the field so far, but Libertad are now on the attack. Tries to go around Manus on the Falklands right. Decides he can't do that, and Mark was there to sort of stop him. Tries to cross it in and it goes for a throw-in as Mark manages to clear away. Falklands are now able to reset. Again, for a lot of these players, this is their second consecutive game in only a few days, so the legs will start to be tiring soon. So I'm sure Dan will be wanting to start making a few changes. It's just past half time, but I'm sure he'll make a few changes soon. As there is Daryl Harada, who's currently there with Dan talking tactics. And he's no stranger to football. He's played for the Humberside Police and got a good cross on him. I saw a practice today. Now Libertad trying to break in, but Evers there manages to break around, but again good recovery by all three. Again, this is really good defensive display. The defensive unit doesn't really get much recognition. It's usually all the goal scorers that get the credit, but as soon as the Libertad sort of wingers are trying to find the space, the Falklands are on them straight away. Good teamwork there from both Cousins Eva and Jason, and then John Paul was there to sort of come in and help, but he's now dispossessed. Libertad on possession on the edge of the box, manages to beat Aiden and fires on goal into the hands of Blake. That was a dangerous chance there by Libertad, probably the closest chance. Plays it across goal and it just goes over. That was a dangerous chance. So Eva tried to play the ball across the goal, tries to play it to I believe that's, yeah, tries to play it to his captain Dan. Again, really dangerous there, and their striker was able to receive it, but again it was sort of, he lost the momentum and skied it over the goal. Again, that was a really dangerous chance there. I'm sure Dan will be having a few words, Dan Stay will be having a few words with his left back. As now Eva is in possession, plays it to Sean. Sean now manages to play through to Jason. Jason's now bringing the ball forward, plays it inside to Ethan. Ethan now holds the ball up, tries to switch the play over to Ethan George. Ethan George has a strike and it's in! 1-0 to the Falkland Islands. And there's a yellow card as well for number 5 of Libertad. Ethan George, what a goal there. Good play. Spearheaded at the left flank of the Falklands. Manages to play it inside to Ethan Gilson-Clark. And he does what he does best. He holds the ball up. Manages to find the space as Ethan runs in. Plays it through and Ethan was unmarked. Fires it into the bottom right, and the keeper had no chance. 1-0 to the Falkland Islands in their second game here of the Punta Arenas tour. Now the game is reset. The Libertad begin, and again now they'll be chasing the game, and now the Falklands will be having sort of more confidence moving forward. Again, they did say that the nerves, or a few of the players did tell me that the nerves are now gone. The first game nerves have gone. They said that they could play a lot better in the first half last game against CD Penguinos. They said that they knew that they could play a lot better, and they did. They recovered in the second half, and again, the nerves are gone now. Now they're here to enjoy it. And now as Sean East, again, he was in lively first half, definitely. Part of a brunt of a few physical challenges. Sean East brings the ball forward. Manages to use his strength, and it goes for a throw-in to the Falklands just on this near side. As Eva throws into Sean. Sean is kind of, again, they're not giving him enough space, but fair play to Sean. He's still challenging ahead. Aidan Morris switches the play now to Ethan George, the goal scorer. Brings the ball forward. Tries to look up, tries to find the options to Sean East in the middle at the centre attacking midfield role to Ethan Gilson-Clark. Back to Ethan, tries to play the through ball, tries to find Matt Francis, but Matt just swayed offside there. And it goes for a free kick for Libertad. Again, Ethan, the goal scorer, Ethan George, has been playing for 19 years, long time. And he says his best moment, best highlight of his career so far was representing the Falkland Islands at the 2023 Island Games, which was the last sort of, well, apart from Monday, was the last sort of international fixture for the Falklands, as they drew 1-1 against the Allen Islands in one of the playoffs and sadly lost in the penalty shootout. Libertad now, the host, bringing the ball forward, tries to play forward, tries to find their left winger over there, and it goes for a throw-in. Goes for a throw-in on that far side for the Falklands, wearing their navy sort of training jerseys, as there was a colour clash earlier on. That's why we were a bit delayed for kickoff. Now Ethan is dispossessed, but manages to jockey the player. Again, this is what I was mentioning about the teamwork between both players. So Ethan was there kind of holding the player off, and Matt Francis was there to sort of take the ball away from him, from the player, but the referee judged it to be a foul. And it's a free kick for Libertad, but again, sort of the Falklands, one of the players stops them in the tracks, and then another player comes and helps as the cavalry arrives. As Ethan Gilson-Clark brings the ball forward, uses strength, on goal, has it a chance, and it goes wide. I just saw manager Dan Biggs there jump up, he's happy with this team performance so far, as the goalkeeper now has to run into the sort of the dark depths past the running track. Oh, there's a runner there as well to go and collect the ball. Really good stadium this, the Estadio Fiscal. It was built in 1976, so it's celebrating its 50th anniversary. And again, it's more of a sort of a community stadium with many facilities, similar to what the Falklands are currently building with their sports complex, with a new football pitch that's being created, as well as the cricket oval and the facilities. I believe there's the hockey glice that's just been put down recently as well. So again, there's a lot of things going on for both teams for sports. Now Dan Steer in a dangerous position, manages to shield the ball off. Blake Benjamin, the goalkeeper, to pick it up. Rolls it in to John Paul. And the ball, he tries to find Ethan George there, but it's dispossessed. And goes for a throw-in on the far side for the hosts. As we continue, we've currently been playing 12 minutes in the second half. Just over half an hour to go. As Libertad now trying another challenge. As Blake picks it up, and again Blake will take a few seconds. And I think someone commented earlier about what went on with the rules, and I think yeah, it's 8 seconds you have, and then it goes for a corner if the goalkeeper holds the ball for more than 8 seconds. Now Sean East on the attack, tries to play in Matt Francis, manages to go around the defender. Ethan George is there to receive, plays it to Matt in a dangerous position, fires on goal, but the goalkeeper is there. Again, utilising the strength of the winger there, and tries to have a chance on goal, but the goalkeeper saves down low to his left. And there's a bit of a break in play here, as one of the Libertad wingers is brought down. Number 7. It's just sort of, maybe it's a knock. But yeah, the manager Dan Steer, who's currently been in charge of the national team for just over a year now, been quite pleased with his team's performance today. He's currently joined sort of with Daryl Harada, a player who's played quite a good level before. We're currently talking tactics with maybe there might be a sub soon, as the legs will be getting tired soon. And I mean, Sean just seems, well, he did say earlier he was very energetic when he plays, and he just hasn't stopped running. Brilliant player so far. John Paul picks up the ball in a dangerous position, plays to Aidan, his centre midfield teammate, who tries to play in Ethan, but is dispossessed. Ethan picks up the ball again, plays to Ethan Gilson-Clark. Again, that's dispossessed, as now Libertad come forward. Dan Steer is there, the captain at the moment, as Cleggs has gone off at half time, and Declan Bonner is the vice captain. He's currently on the bench, but I think he's warming up over there on the far side, on the near side. Sorry. So Dan Steer has taken the captain's armband for the second half. As Ethan will take the throw-in. Now John Paul plays to Matt Francis on the Falklands right flank. Matt Francis has some space, so he brings the ball forward. Tries to play in Ethan Gilson-Clark, who fires on goal! And it goes wide there. So I wasn't sure, because sometimes there's a few holes in the goal and it goes through. So, but anyway, when it goes wide for a goal kick, and again has an applause there from his manager Dan Biggs. Very impressed with that display of football. Quite quick as the ball is brought forward. Mark McManus against their striker, number 22. And number 22 striker, much faster than Mark, but Mark was able to force him wide, and there was no support for him. So he tries to swing in the ball, and it hits Mark McManus's head to go for a corner ball. Corner ball for the host at the moment. Plays to 13, tries to beat over Sean. Oh, that was a close effort there. Sean puts the pressure on, but the number 13 sorry, number 8 over there, just whistles past the Falklands goal, tries to finesse it right into the top, into Blake's top right-hand corner. So just whistles past the goal there. That was a dangerous chance by the hosts here, as it's a goal kick. I'm sure Blake will be happy that it went past his goal. Now Blake plays to a short goal kick, plays to Dan. Dan plays it in to, manages to find John Paul in the centre. John Paul's been quite energetic so far. Aidan Morris now in possession. Plays it back to Mark McManus, who looks up, tries to play the long ball to Matt Francis. Good ball there. Matt takes it down and plays it through. But it's not gone through, where the it changes possession to Libertad, as now they are now in the driving. Now they're going to be attacking. And a wayward pass. Again, the pressure from the Falklands, from Sean East in particular, not giving them that time to even think or even to look up and sort of find the options or find the runs that Libertad need to sort of get that equaliser. For those of you that are listening, it is 1-0 here for the Falkland Islands, as Ever is in possession. And he tries to throw in to Jason, his cousin. Jason's now on the Falklands left, trying to do some silky step-overs. Decides he couldn't swing the ball around, plays it to Ever. Ever now plays it in the centre to John Paul. Tries to find Sean, but it's just in front of him, and the goalkeeper picks up the ball. Takes a few seconds to a long kick there from the goalkeeper, but Mark's there to sort of head it away. As I mentioned, it is 1-0 here for the Falklands, and Ethan George goal. It was good team goal, that one. Good counter-attacking play. And I did mention when the Falklands are able to string 1 or 2 or 3 passes together, they're quite electric. They're quite fast. They seem to know where everyone's going to move and pass a move and play. So good display so far. And I think there's some action on the bench. So far it is quite cold out there. So I guess the subs will be wanting to warm up. Now Sean East tries to dispossess, but it's fallen to one of the Libertad strikers. Mark McManus comes out, tries to clear, number 22, as Libertad now in a dangerous position. And again, 3 Falklands defenders there were on him as soon as he had the ball. And again, dispossessed as Libertad come back again just on the Falklands left. Ever forces him back. Again, they try and play it out now. Sean is in the middle, trying to force them wide, as the Falklands have a pretty decent centre with Aidan Morris, Mark, Dan Steer and John Paul. Quite an experienced centre unit. The experienced players, and then on the wings they have the pace. I think Jason has signalled sort of a substitution. I think he might be taken off soon. So there's plenty of options for Dan Biggs, the manager, to change for the winger. Could be Declan Bonner or Richie Short, or even Daryl Harada, who's been up there. I think there's a drone. You might be able to see a drone flying across the live stream there as it's watching the football. So Mark McManus now in possession, receives a wayward ball, plays to Matt Francis on the Falklands right. He has some space but decides not to go forward. But it's straight on the 2 Libertad defenders, straight on him, and was able to dispossess. Now they try and break away, and again it goes for a throw-in to the Falklands. Again, we've mentioned it before, but the hosts, they were quite a technical team, but as well quite physical as well. And I think this is Jason that comes off. So Jason is now substitute off for Kingsley Chimpunza. Kingsley Chimpunza, he's no stranger to this sort of surface, because he was here 2 years ago for the youth tour. The youth team came here and competed and went into this exact stadium. So he's used to this sort of pitch. And his father, Shupi, who has played for the Falklands and represented the Falklands before, is here watching. So he'll be proud to watch his son play. As Kingsley's in possession, plays to Sean East. Sean East now is again. There always seems to be a few players on him as soon as Sean gets the ball. Kind of shows how dangerous Sean is for how much of a nuisance he is for that defensive line for Libertad. The fact that they're always sort of on Sean straight away. As I mentioned, yeah, Kingsley Chimpunza is currently playing on the left wing. He'll be partnered with Eva at the left back. But Kingsley again has scored quite a few goals in the domestic league, and is quite a keen hockey player. And his father is watching, Shupi. And he says earlier on, when I had a chat with him, he says he's very proud to watch his son play for the Falklands. I did ask Shupi if he's ever going to come back, and he says never say never. So he was he did play for the Falklands at a few island games as well. So, but anyway, Kingsley is now on the field in place of Jason, who comes off. John Paul now has a sort of a little physical battle with the central midfield of Libertad as the Falcons now bring forward the ball with Matt Francis. Plays to Ethan. Ethan now tries to set the ball to Kingsley Chimpunza on the dangerous position on this. Has a go! Hits the post. Wow. What a chance there by the Falklands. Again, electric straight away. John Paul plays to Matt Francis, who plays to Ethan Gilson-Clark. He does what he does best. He holds the ball up, waits for the wingers to sort of give him that support, and Kingsley Chimpunza was able to get the ball, fires on goal, and it just strikes the post there. Again, a bit of pressure now for Libertad as it goes for a throw-in. Eva now, who has played in Peru with his cousin Jason on the wing. Eva now throws the ball in and finds Shawnees, who scored last goal. Has a goal deflected, and Ethan George tries to pick it up on the Falklands right. He does. He manages to get it. Plays to Matt Francis. Matt is in a dangerous area. Silky moves, beats one or two. Plays to Ethan on short range, but again is dispossessed. Getting good play here from the wings in particular. But again, what a I think the post is still rattling. What a chance there for Kingsley. Straight on. Could have got an early goal there. But again, he's mentioned that he's quite proud to go from the youth setup, the youth tour, to now the senior side. Oh, Sean. I think there's a few issues there. Sean brought one of the players down from CD Libertad. Just has to be careful here. The referee gets in his pocket, and it's a red card for Sean East. I mean, the referee was there. He definitely saw some contact there, and it is a red card for Sean East. Sean East is sent off for bringing down one of the CD Libertad players. Shame there. Sean's been quite an energetic player, both half. But again, they have sort of been challenging him a lot. As soon as Sean gets the ball, the one or two Libertad defenders are on him. So Sean goes for a red card. It's currently 21 minutes to go. So again, the Falklands will now be playing with 10 men. So we'll see what formation the Falklands will change in as Dan Biggs, the manager, scratches his head. Tries to figure out what to do with 10 men to try and hold on to the 1-0 currently that the Falklands are holding. As Mark plays forward, tries to find Matt Francis, just ahead of him, and goes for a goal kick. So again, Dan's now bellowing. Dan's bellowing the commands, maybe change the position, to sort of compensate for having 10 men. So Libertad in possession now. Here's the ball. It's in not a dangerous position, still in their own half. But again, they do have an extra man advantage now. And I think what the Falklands have done is Ethan Gilson-Clark now moves sort of to a centre attacking midfielder role, and will drop back rather than be the high line striker where Sean East was. And then Ethan will have Kingsley Chimpunza on the left, and he'll have Matt Francis on the right. Again, if you're just tuning in here, thank you to Mark Lewis Legal Practice, who have sponsored the coverage on Falklands Radio, as well as FIFCA, who have sponsored the Falklands Live streaming on the YouTube page. So wherever you are in the world, you can watch or listen in to the second game of the Falklands series against Libertad at the moment. It is currently 1-0 to the Falklands, courtesy of an early second half goal from Ethan George. However, 20 minutes to go, and the Falklands has 10 men, as Sean East was sent off for, I guess, a dangerous tackle. Now Libertad brings the ball forward. I think it's just ahead of him, so it's going to go for a goal kick for Blake Benjamin in the goal. He hasn't had too much to do, to be honest, Blake, in the Falklands goal. But again, you can never take that for granted. Especially the Libertad have definitely had a few chances that have just whistled past the goal. Now Ever brings the ball forward. It's tackled by two men. There's a ledge push in the back. The referee tries to play the advantage. It wasn't given, so it is a free kick now for the Falkland Islands, just inside their half. There's John Paul. There we go. John Paul sets up. Ever will take the free kick. John Paul was just setting it down. Again, I think the Falklands will be playing a 4-3-3 again, but this time Ethan Gilson-Clark, the striker, who has played at Bristol Rovers youth team and Cheltenham youth team as well, will drop back just a little bit into the centre attacking midfielder role, and then try and utilise Kingsley Chimpunza on the left and Matt Francis on the right, as the Falklands will be looking to hold on for a 1-0 victory, or maybe even try and go for another one. Who knows? Matt Francis now beats one of the men on the left there, but the left back for Libertad was able to stop him in his tracks, and they come again. Again, the good thing about the Falklands is they definitely communicate a lot as a team, as a unit. They definitely they're always talking to each other and make sure everyone knows where they are. And whenever the host have the ball, seems to be 2 or 3 players of the Falklands on them straight away. As Kingsley Chimpunza picks up the ball on the Falklands left. Again, he's trying to look for support here. Plays it into John Paul just at the halfway mark. And plays to his teammate in the centre midfielder to Aidan. Aidan tries to find Ever, his left back, but is dispossessed. And again, it's back to Libertad. Kingsley Chimpunza's not giving the Libertad sort of midfielder any time. I guess that must be a tactic for Dan. And the Falklands don't give them any time or any breathing room, as it goes now for a throw-in on this near side for the hosts.
You've done more to
Now
get yellow.
Libertad just manages to break free from Ever, but it doesn't come to anything. And there's a clearance from John Paul. Again, the Libertad try and test and probe this defensive unit from the Falklands. I did mention earlier that from some of the streams from that we watched earlier, it seems that the host will be trying to pull away the Falklands positions, but the Falklands remain quite resilient at the moment. In particular, you'll see on the stream maybe the 2 strikers are just in between the centre backs and the central midfielders to try and pull the central midfielders out to create that space. The Falklands are having none of it so far. I think they're aware of that. Now Ethan Gilson-Clark has just been, it's a throw in here now. The Falklands will be taking the time. Ever with the throw, tries to find an option. Tries to find Kingsley. Kingsley uses his strength. Again, a strong player. Plays to Ethan. Ethan Gilson is dispossessed. Tackles in, but manages to play to Matt McManus. Matt McManus, quick ball to Matt Francis. Matt uses his pace on the Falklands right. Plays a low ball in. It's blocked away. And Mark McManus is back to try and play in Kingsley Chimpunza. and it's dispossessed. As now Dan Steer is in possession. Again, the ball is quite high moving. For those of you listening in on the radio, the ball is being pinged from one end to the other, end-to-end stuff so far here at the Estadio Fiscal in Punta Arenas. Yeah, the Falklands have a 3-match tour. This is the second game for the Falklands, as I think Mark is brought down. Again, there'll be a bit of a break in play as Mark McManus is brought down. There'll be a bit of a pause. I think Mickey Goodwin is lining up on the side, so again he's going to be a defensive option, and Declan Bonner as well. So Declan can play left wing, right wing, and again he'll probably be a sort of a defensive left back or right back position. Yeah, plenty of options for Dan Biggs. Again, he's got Jordan Betts as centre back. He's got Mickey Goodwin as centre back as well. Declan Bonner again can play on the wings, either an attacking wing position or sort of the defensive. And Richie Short as well, who's only been playing for a year. But again, that doesn't mean anything because he's got a sporty background, including playing basketball, hockey, and he also delves in a bit of Lego as well. Daryl Harada as well can play left back or right back. So plenty of options on the bench for the Falklands as play is resumed. Mark McManus now tries to play in to Ethan. Ethan picks up the ball in a dangerous position, plays in Matt Francis. Matt tries to muscle out the centre back for Libertad, but is unable to. And it goes to the goalkeeper, who's able to clear it away. However, they can't string one or two passes at the moment, Libertad, so it goes for a throw-in on the far side for the Falklands. It is currently 1-0 to the Falkland Islands, courtesy of Ethan George. However, the Falklands are currently 10 men, as Sean East was sent off straight red for a dangerous challenge. As the Falklands are in possession, Kingsley Chimpunza on this left takes some time, tries to see if he can defeat his man. Again, he's dispossessed, and Libertad are able to start an attack again. But again, Kingsley's not sort of one to leave the ball there. He was running back to try and avert the danger and put the pressure on. And then the host there managed to pass it out for a throw-in to the Falklands. Okay, I think Declan and Mickey are warming up at the moment. Probably going to put a few defensive options on. Just 10 minutes to go here in this second game of the Falkland Islands Punta Arenas series against Falklands versus CD Libertad. Again, I mentioned earlier that Libertad do quite well in their domestic league. They're currently, they finished 4th, so they're in sort of a qualifying stage for their regional finals, which is like a 16-team knockout, and then the regional finals, the winner of that will go to their sort of district final and onwards. It's quite a good little setup. By contrast, the Falklands don't really, because again, it's mainly Stanley, so there's a lot of players. There is an indoor league, 4-a-side indoor league, which is finished. It's usually played during the winter. There is an 11-a-side league, which the Fortuna Mustangs won. And then there is now currently a 7-a-side league, which over 100 players have signed up for. And it's a mixed league as well, so it's mixed gender. So again, loads of players playing in this 7-a-side league at the moment. As well, the Falklands play a sort of a mini-series, the men's national side play a sort of a mini-series against the military, NPC. Currently are winning that series 4-1, but the military are a very good side as well. And when in the final game before they came to Punta Arenas, they wished the Team Falklands very well in their series here in Punta Arenas. And then the youth team as well, as I mentioned earlier, Kingsley Chimpunza on the left flank here. He's been on a couple of youth tours that have come to this region, and the youth team were here just a month ago and competing against local sides. Here, as Kingsley Chimpunza brings the ball forward, and it goes for a Okay, goes for a Libertad throw-in here on the near side. Just inside 10 minutes to go. Not long to go unless there's any added time. No changes. There is some movement on the bench though, as Jose Castro, or commonly referred to as Nacho, is warming up as well. Again, it's going to be some nervy last 10 minutes for the Falklands if they can hold on. 1-0 to the Falklands so far, courtesy of Ethan George. However, the Falklands currently have 10 men as Sean East was sent off for a dangerous challenge. Now 23 of Libertad manages to find some space to 10. Kingsley Chimpunza manages to hard tackle in to Ever plays to Ethan George. Ethan Gilson-Clark looks up, tries to play Kingsley on the left wing. Just too far ahead of him, and the centre-back was able to kind of stop him in his tracks. And the Libertad come again, try and find the gaps, find the spaces, try and create something with their extra man advantage as the Falklands try and continue to hold on. You have to say though, the Falklands have had definitely the most chances, more dangerous chances. And like I say, the Falklands will be playing a sort of a 4-3-2 kind of position, with Ethan Gilson-Clark sort of coming back a bit to help his to help the central defensive midfielders. Because as I mentioned, the sort of tactics, it seems, of the Libertad, of the hosts, are sort of, they'll be trying to pull away the central defensive midfielders to sort of get the chances in for their striker to get a chance on goal. Now John Paul has got a free kick here in the Falklands half. Just has a little conversation with one of the Libertad wingers as Ever now lines up the ball and plays it forward. Tries to find Kingsley, but it's sort of a missed kick. Or is it deflected? Sorry, curse of the commentator there. It was actually deflected. But deflected for a throw-in to the Falklands. As I think Ever will take it. Ever Monfessy will take it. I think there's going to be a sub as action on the bench as well. So Ever is coming off, and Declan Bonner, the vice-captain, is coming on in that left-back role, I think. Again, Declan has played at left-back before. He's very competent in that position. And he told me he played since he could walk. So he's been playing for... Well, I'll leave you to be the judge of the age, but he's been playing for a long time. He's a keen golfer as well. He represented the islands in a few golfing competitions at the Island Games. And like I say, he plays darts as well, as the dart season is going to begin during the winter months in the Falkland Islands. Anyway, we move on. Libertad tries to break on the left as Declan was just out of position, but Dan Steer again uses his experience, manages to cover the gap. And Declan says thank you for covering that position as the Falklands reset their defensive line. Goes to that back four, and Aidan and John Paul are sort of just in front. They've definitely dropped back. The Falklands are no one's in there in the Libertad half, as the Libertad are going to try and press. But it's just too many sort of wayward passes from the host so far. They need to use that sort of one-man advantage that they have. Over that side, Ethan George now with a throw-in at the halfway line. Throws in to Matt Francis. Matt Francis tries to use the silky moves, but again, nobody's there to sort of receive it up top because Ethan's had to pull back. And Libertad come again. Tries to play through. It just goes through, and Declan kind of leaves the ball there, and it goes through to the goalkeeper, Blake. So Blake now resets. Blake now manages to roll it to sort of Ethan George, and it ends up to Mark McManus, who hoofs the ball forward, sort of the long balls. They were talking earlier in their sort of pre-match sort of chat that the long balls just wasn't working for them in their first game. So Declan now using his strength, using his power, not giving the Libertad any options on this left wing. Right in his face. but Libertad are coming forward again. Live here on Falklands Radio, 5 minutes to go in this second game. The Falklands 1-0 up, courtesy of Ethan George. 5 minutes to go, plus added time. But the Falklands have 10 men as Libertad come forward on this Falklands left. Declan's there trying to hold him up. 13 has 1-2 pass with his striker. Number 22 plays it, switches the play quite nicely actually for the hosts. Again, trying to find the space that the Falklands haven't been giving them. Tries a shot on goal, maybe a cross. But anyway, it doesn't matter for Blake. Blake Benjamin picks up the ball. Takes a few minutes, seconds, sorry, shouldn't say minutes. And tries to find Kingsley. Kingsley now uses his strength. He's all over him. It's a foul there, so Kingsley now. Go. The Libertad tries to, there's a foul there for the Falklands, as I think Declan will line up to sort of bring the ball forward. And again, he won't be wasting any time. Tries to bring it forward to Kingsley. Kingsley's now traps the ball down, plays back to Declan, and is kind of shoulder barged away. It goes for another throw in here on the near side for the Falklands. Just happy to sort of, as the minutes go past, there's another substitution. Again, a throw in here for the Falklands. I think Ethan's coming off. Yep. So Ethan Gilson-Clark is coming off. He's played a good game. Definitely was instrumental in the first goal, in the goal there for Ethan George. And Jose Castro, commonly called Nacho, is coming on in his place. Declan now with the throw. Tries to find Matt Francis. Matt Francis sort of does a few kick-ups and tries to cross the ball in, but it's received by one of the centre-backs of the hosts, who manages to clear it away. And it comes back to John Paul. John Paul plays now to Matt Francis on the left, on the Falklands left. Declan Bonner, there's a challenge in there. It's getting quite physical out there, as the striker for number 22 for Libertad sort of stud showing, dives in on Declan Bonner there, and Declan Bonner's brought down, so there'll be a sort of a break in play. There's a few seconds, I think, as John Paul puts the ball down. But yeah, there was a sort of a physical challenge there. Last few minutes of this second game of the Falklands tour of Punta Arenas, as Declan brings the ball forward, and nobody is there for the Falklands. So Libertad are back in possession. Tries to beat away Nacho. Nacho's there, putting all the pressure on him. It's getting quite physical out there. Only a few minutes to go. Nacho has the foul, and it is. I think it's going to be a yellow card. I reckon it's a yellow card for Nacho. He's just come on. I think there was a sort of a challenge there. Again, it's a free kick for Libertad. Only a few minutes to go here at the Estadio Fiscal Stadium, as the Falklands are currently 1-0 up against CD Libertad, but they have a man advantage. CD Libertad have a man advantage as they bring the ball forward here into the Falklands half. Plays it across goal. In a dangerous position. One tries for a 1-2, finds the space. 13 has a go on goal, deflected by John Paul, and Nacho is able to clear the ball away. I'm not quite sure. I think the formation, I don't think the Falklands now have a striker. I think they're just going to try and hold the 1-0 victory, as Nacho is now joining the midfield line in a sort of a, with just Kingsley Chimpunza just up top, but not too far up. So has a shot on goal and over the bar there. I'm sure Blake would be happy to see that go past. It goes for a goal kick. I'm not quite sure on the formation. I think it might have gone to a 4. Well, I guess Kingsley Chimpunza is just the one up at the top at the moment. Again, I guess they're probably wanting him to sort of hold the ball up as Nacho goes on the left wing. I spoke to Nacho earlier. He says on his sort of little questionnaire that we did, says he can play anywhere, so a good option for Dan Biggs. to have someone that can play an all-rounder. Again, I think Nacho's moved to the left wing here. Now Declan at left back manages to turn the defender there. Sorry, the for between the Falkland Islands and CD Libertad. It was a second half goal there by Ethan George. A very good team effort there, but that was a victory for the Falklands against CD Libertad in the second game of the Punta Arenas series. One more game to go for the Falklands, and that is against the defending regional champions tomorrow against Sokol. So again, you can listen in on Falklands Radio or watch the live stream on Falklands Live YouTube page, and we'll see you again for the final fixture tomorrow.